guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled Stunning LonelyFans Model Tells How Men Keep Dumping Her When They Learn About Her Job. And a big shout out to Mike for sending me this article. And guys, this article is all about a woman who is who at least was a flight attendant. And she discovered one way or another that she can make a hell of a lot more money posting pictures of her doing Lord knows what on OnlyFans as opposed to her career as a flight attendant. Okay? And in the article, you obviously see pictures of her, and I'm not going to deny for a second, she's damn good looking. I mean, you know, I'll give credit where credit's due, and she's in her prime because she's obviously her 20s. And essentially, she's crying and whining and complaining that when guys find out what she does for a living, they won't have anything to do with her, or at least in terms of relationships. And I'm going to go through this whole thing, and you're going to see how this whole thing started, when she started in on this, and how she kept it a secret from her boyfriend, which shows about her real character right then and there, and now she's having trouble. And some of you may think, SSM, why don't you focus on something else? Why are you doing it on this? Who cares? Well, I'm doing it for two reasons, guys. I'm doing it, one, to show you this is just a reflection of the times that we're in. When many times I say we live in Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0, I'm not saying that as a catchphrase. It really is true. And this is a perfect example of how the impact, the domino effect of the feminist movement has led things to the world we are in today. Where decades ago, it led to the S-word revolution, and now we're in a period where if you're not exposing, if a gal isn't, she's not empowered, if she's not able to go out and expose herself in various different ways, be in open relationships, open marriages, the big giant mess that we're in right now. This is an example of it, and to show you guys, as well others that are new, that what the feminist movement is trying to say they are versus what the effect it's been on multiple fronts. This is what we have today in today's world. And as a wonder, it is a mess right now. And not to mention the fact of how traditional values have been increasingly going down the gutter. No surprise that no one's getting married anymore. At least they're putting off way longer. Birth rates are declining, etc., etc. And you see this around the world. It isn't just here in the US of A. Second reason I'm doing it is for you relationship guys. For you guys who are watching me now, either now or in the future in your relationship, and you got yourself, if you're fortunate to have a very pretty girl, pretty face, pretty body in her prime, or just looks damn good, whatever her age is, you never know. Because you're going to see here, this woman's boyfriend, he didn't know either. You never know if she, on the side, has one of these accounts. And that can come back to cause a problem for you, especially if you're married and this is your wife or the mother of your children. But if you were to find out that she has this account online, and it isn't just pictures of her in a bikini, it's actually something far more, you have a right to know about this. This is what happens. And a lot of these stories I cover, they're school teachers, they're flight attendants, bankers. They have decent careers, but they find I can make way more doing this, and probably from seemingly good families. So it's not like they're in dire straits and desperately need the money. They were doing fine. So I'm covering this just to show you exactly that, because you never know, and it's a good thing to be aware of. Oh, and the icing on the cake is, guys, at the end of this article, upon reading this, I found an article, well, not an article, but a post by an feminist woman, self-proclaimed feminist, who is trying to yell at guys and shame guys for our views on these types of things. So that'd be a good one to end the video with, because you guys will get a kick out of her rant. So it starts off. Amanda Summer claims all three of the men she has recently dated left her when they found out that she worked on LonelyFans. A LonelyFans model who left her cabin crew job has revealed she keeps getting dumped when men discover she sells risque photos of herself online. Amanda Summer quit her job as a cabin crew for Ryanair last year to sell photos of herself on the adults-only subscription website. So she had a career as a flight attendant. Okay, respectable. The 27-year-old now earns a whopping £15,000 a month from her fans who pay her monthly amount to get access to her content, the Daily Star reports. So I just looked it up before I did the video. Presently, today, right now, £15,000 would be equivalent to about $20,400, give or take, a month in US dollars. So, not too shabby. 20 grand a month, so we're looking at about 240 grand a year based on that. But if she continues to grow, obviously those numbers will go higher. But still, what's the cost to your dignity, towards people that are involved with you? See? However, Amanda wants men to be more open-minded when dating her and can't understand why they break up with her when they find out what her job is. They break up with her because it's one thing to date and hook up because she's good-looking, as opposed to being in a relationship, because you don't want your girl to have dudes all over the world paying all his money to look at your girl. And again, sometimes these things, what I've heard, is they start off with just bikini pictures of lingerie, and then when they want their channel or their account to grow, then they become more revealing with more body parts being shown, and they want to grow more, then it's pictures of them doing certain acts. The next thing you know, video clips of them doing certain acts with certain people or multiple people and all that. You get my point. And the money keeps pouring in. No guy would want to be in a relationship with a gal like that, okay? Especially married to one. Because imagine, because you put something on the internet, it can come back to haunt you, even 20 years. Imagine you're married and you have kids, and your wife does this, and maybe you keep it quiet, but eventually the kids find out. Talk about embarrassing. Or maybe some of the kids' friends at school find out about this, right? You can connect the dots. No self-respecting guy is going to want this. And let me tell you something, guys. To be fair here, if the situation was reversed and a gal found out that her husband or boyfriend did something like this and had women all over the world paying to see pictures of him butt naked or doing whatever, she'd have a major problem with this. Now, that's not likely to happen in that sense because women generally aren't going to be the ones to pay for those types of things. Guys are the one. For guys, it's visual stimulation through those different websites and everything. But for a lot of the gals, their version of PORN is actually reading stories. That's why those romance novels that you see lined up in the book section of Walgreens or CVS, they're always there with like Fabio back in the day or whatever, the equivalent of Fabio. And that's what they read. That's the kind of the equivalent. But anyhow, if a guy was doing something on a similar level, earning money behind her back, a woman would have a problem with that. But men are the bad guys, and we're not open-minded enough. See? Okay. It says here, the model from Hartlepool County, Durham, claims that all three of the men she's recently dated left her when they found out she worked on LonelyFans. Amanda didn't originally plan on being a LonelyFans model, but after leaving her airline role to move back home with her boyfriend, she needed another job. The ex-cabin crew member told The Sun, "I heard about that and I like the idea because you can work on there discreetly on your phone and my boyfriend wouldn't find out." So, she had no problem doing all this behind her boyfriend's back. What does that say about her character? Okay? She's got no problem lying, hiding things, being devious. And if she's lying, a reasonable question from the boyfriend would be, if you're willing to hide that and lie about that, what else are you willing to hide and lie about? Any reasonable guy, any reasonable person hearing this would understand that. She says, "I didn't want to stop doing it because I was doing so well and didn't have to find a day job because I always have to be on my phone to make good money on there, and he got suspicious and caught me on the website on my phone, and he said to me it's basically cheating, which I don't believe it is." Yes, it is. If you're deliberately hiding this, if you're lying about it, wrongdoing is going on, and it is cheating. Because believe me, if she didn't have this account and she found out her dude was doing things behind her back, an equivalent version of this, she'd be pissed. It'd be cheating. But because she's blinded by the fact that she's getting her 15 minutes of fame and she's making a lot of money on that and has the potential to make more money. See what I'm talking about? Amanda's ex gave her an ultimatum and asked her to ditch OnlyFans or he would leave. So, the model decided to prioritize her income over him and remained on the website. Well, you could see that coming a mile away. There is no way she's going to get a gal in her prime, 27, who gets attention from dudes all over the world, and her income is probably increasing every single month, is going to give up just for this guy. Because with her looks, she could get another dude in a heartbeat. It is the truth. Not necessarily to be her boyfriend, but at least a temporary dude. Now Amanda claims that the issue keeps popping up in her dating life. Oh, poor her. She said, "It keeps happening. Guys I get with just keep finding out and they get upset that I lied to them about what I do, but if I was upfront with them, they would not want anything to do with me. Well, the question is, has she been upfront with any of them yet? It says like every single one of them she lies about, and they find out eventually. And the bigger she gets, the more they're going to find out. More sirens. Has she tried to be upfront? That's the best way she could do it in the beginning. And that way then, because maybe, hey, you never know. There could be some guys who are like, all right, whatever. I appreciate you telling me. But if a guy's with her for a while and finds out, of course he's going to be like, see ya. At least if he has any self-respect. The model thinks that men sometimes feel jealous because she earns more money than them and because she's speaking to other men on the site. It's not about the money. They can have issues with her talking to other dudes. And by the way, if she's chatting with other guys on the site, it's obviously not because she likes them or is into them. It's because they're clients. They're how she makes her money. It's all BS. And a lot of these guys that go onto those sites, desperate dudes, they think they may have a shot with her or they're helping her. You're a fan. You're her payment plan. You don't have a chance. And you'll see later in this article, I'll prove that. Amanda claims her dream man, wait for it, is a billionaire like Elon Musk or Bill Gates. And she wants someone who will settle down with her, but also loves a night out. Bill Gates and Elon Musk. Now, okay, Elon Musk, because she's obviously, I forget how old Elon Musk is, but Bill Gates, I believe, is in his 70s now. So I don't know what she's talking about there. But the point is, I want a billionaire. You know the old thing about how, like, nowadays, thanks to all the attention and validation from, like, social media and dating apps, OnlyFans, average gals walk around and think they're 10s? Well, here's a question. What happens to the 10s? What do they think? They think they're entitled to billionaires. Right there. Now, a gal in her prime is smoking hot and in her 20s. That's the time she could, the ones that really are 9s and 10s, especially the 10s, they have a shot at getting those dudes. Whether they stay, who knows? Right there, the billionaires. She says, the star wouldn't ever consider dating someone she met through her OnlyFans. What'd I tell you? She added, I want to meet someone the old-fashioned way and meet them in real life. You're not an old-fashioned kind of gal. You do these things online. Now, if that's how she does her life and that makes her happy, okay, fine, whatever. But don't go crying about it when you have dudes that want to have nothing to do with you, okay? Especially also, you had a career before, but this goes to show money, integrity. And when I say fine, yeah, I don't totally agree with this, but at the end of the day, she's going to do what she's going to do. But meet someone the old-fashioned way, you're not an old-fashioned gal. If you want to meet someone the old-fashioned way and actually have something going, then, you don't qualify into that. So, per example of the times. Now, the icing on the cake, I'm going to read a post from a gal under the Effinist movement, or Effinism, reflecting on men and only or lonely fans. Perhaps I have to speak in code here. I mean proactive here before that becomes banned. Now listen to this. The title of her rant is "Why Are Men So Mad at LonelyFans?" She says this is a rant, kind of. This is something that's been bothering me since the beginning of 2020, and I feel like I need to address it. Well, something is always bothering these types, and they always have to address it. If people wanted to argue that more young gals turning to sex work for money is a growing issue, I would be on board. A gal shouldn't feel like selling her body is her only option. That would be, oddly enough, an actual way to help women in need and protect teenage gals. Of course, that's not the case. None of these men want to help these women. None of these men would ever consider donating to women's charity because they don't think the oppression of gals exists anymore. Oppression does occur, guys. I mean, to this lady or anybody else listening, I agree with that. And in certain parts of the world, and I'm sure we can all think of those parts of the world, but to countries like the United States, her idea of what oppression is, compared to in other parts of the world, those that are women in the other parts of the world would be like laughing, would be crying over that, of what she thinks is oppression here. And back to the whole, what she's alluding to, that these gals don't have any options, therefore they go on the LonelyFans. A lot of these gals, just like the one I just read, had careers. Flight attendants, school teachers, bankers, other things I've read, but chose that because they got a thrill out of the attention they got, and of course the money. And likely came from probably good households, good families. But the thrill of dudes paying for you to put yourself up there, I've told you before about attention and validation, so I don't want to hear that the poor innocent victims here. This isn't just a case of someone that was desperate and dire straits, needed money anyway, anyhow. No, these are people that had careers and did it anyway and didn't care because it's empowering. That's the direction that things have gone. Thank you, feminist movement. She goes on. Societal views on the gals are enough to argue that we are not equal and aren't treated with the same respect as men. Just because the gals can legally do whatever they want doesn't mean they don't face a significant amount of societal pressure for so many things. It's ridiculous. A gal can't even own her own body without men putting their 2 cents regarding it. Well, a guy can't do anything or say anything nowadays without the feminist types adding their 2 cents to it. For clarity, I'm speaking about the men that shame the gals for sex work. Apparently, a woman benefiting from her own body is so obscene that these men feel the need to retaliate and get angry at women they don't even effing know. Newsflash, just because you are attracted to a gal doesn't mean her actions are of any, she put that in giant letters, importance to you. She says in giant letters, you do not own her. I'm sorry that a chick you wouldn't F in the right circumstances isn't all what you hope to be. Go look at the other women you thirst for on a daily basis. You're not loyal to her, so why would she have loyalty towards you or any of those other men that follow her only because she's hot? Well, again, the guys have issues with this because they see the downward spiral, how things have gone, and they've also, all these guys that may have a comment on this, have read the stories and articles about how ordinary guys who thought they were in good, healthy relationships found out that their significant other, fiance, girlfriend, wife even, behind the scenes was doing these things. So this is why a lot of guys pay attention to this and have issue with this and see the negative effect thanks to the S-word revolution, which came from the feminist movement, who she obviously is a part of, has led to. This is why a lot of guys have opinions on this. Women are grown-ass adults that can hold themselves accountable. Really? And know exactly what they're doing. We don't need men's approval, and I don't know why these men react to LonelyFans as if we do. And she says here, unrelated comment, not necessary to read. Well, I'll read it anyway. She says, judging by social media, a lot of men have an issue with the use of the word men. They're so quick to take the blame of other men for pouting, not all men. It's as if they're purposely taking feminist women out of the context. Of course, we aren't talking about every single man in existence. If certain men are willing to be offended by the general use of the word men, they should be willing to accept and admit the privileges that they have as a man. I was just waiting for her to squeeze in something about the privileges. The very popular word nowadays. If I say men created beauty standards for women, do not respond with not all men. It doesn't make what I said any less of a problem and doesn't generate hope for men because I'm not talking about the men who don't perpetuate this problem. I don't need to hope that there's good men. My hope is reserved for the men who can't comprehend something so simple as respecting women and their decisions. Well, as the church lady said in the old Saturday Night Live skit from 30 years ago, well, isn't that special? So there you go. A little end this with a nice rant from your good old neighborhood pissed off feminist. So guys, I thought it'd be a good one to cover with the whole LonelyFans thing. Yet again, now we have a gal who's complaining that dudes don't want to be in a relationship with her. Well, what do you expect? You can't blame us. And again, as I said before, if a dude was doing something equivalent to that behind the scenes, you can bet your ass plenty of women would have a problem with it. Okay? And want to be in a relationship with him. And if he was doing it behind her back, would see it as cheating as well. But right now, how things are in this world, she's getting the attention. She gets to play the world's tiniest violin, and everybody's supposed to cry and feel bad for blah, blah, blah. No, bullshit. You make your bed, you lie in it. If you're obviously hiding this from your guys and you're sneaking around, that says something about her and obviously what she's doing. But, like I said, I come back to the beginning, guys. For your relationship guys, the odds are this is going to happen to you and your girl. If she's pretty, probably not, but you never know. And for you guys who watch me regularly, you've seen me go over some stories when guys found out about this. She openly admitted she was hiding from her guy, not just her first guy, but other guys. So, and last time I checked, guys aren't going to want their gals doing this, or at least most guys wouldn't. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Guys, let me know. I'm curious. Have you, or anybody you known, any buddies of yours, found out that their girl was secretly having something like this, LonelyFans, or I don't know what, equivalent, behind the scenes? I'd like to hear about it. I'm sure it's rare, but I'm sure there's some guy out there that watches me that knows some guy or somebody that happened to. I'd like to hear about that. I'd like to see how common this is. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.